Alone with our minds, we are able to search our private fears and expectations, but our emotions are not unique. Maybe this is why we become uncomfortable when these emotions are exposed in horror movies and in scary books. Alone with our minds, we are able to interpret these thoughts. Our lack of understanding about the complexity of our secret sides is challenged. We are faced with other, more desperate realizations that each of us is, essentially, walking toward the edge. Through selections from Stephen King's Skeleton Crew and Conrad Aiken's Among the Lost People, we are invited to hear and perhaps better understand the inner thoughts of our emotionally troubled brothers and sisters, and perhaps ourselves. We may interpret from these works the calculations, the feelings, the fears of the imperfect mind. This dark side can be interpreted through literature. Horror writer Stephen King, in his collection Skeleton Crew, provides for us an up-close experience with a person who is paranoid. The way the world looks to a paranoid is dark and horrifying, and King captures this view in his poem, Paranoid, a Chant. I can't go out no more. There's a man by the door in a raincoat smoking a cigarette, but I've put him in my diary, and the mailers are all lined up on the bed, bloody in the glow of the bar sign next door. He knows that if I die or even drop out of sight, the diary goes. And everyone knows the CIA is in Virginia. 500 mailers, bought from 500 drug counters, each one's different, and 500 notebooks with 500 pages in every one. I'm prepared. I can see him from up here. His cigarette winks from just above his trench coat collar. And somewhere, there's a man sitting under a subway, under a black velvet ad, thinking my name. Men have discussed me in back rooms, and if the phone rings, there's only dead breath. In the bar across the street, a snub-nosed revolver has changed hands in the men's room. My name is written in back files and looked up in newspaper morgues. My mother's been investigated. Thank God she's dead. They have writing samples and examined the back loops of P's and the crosses of T's. My brother's with them. Did I tell you? His wife is Russian. And he keeps asking me to fill out forms. I have it in my diary. Listen. 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 You must listen. Do you listen? In the rain, at the bus stop, black crows with black umbrellas pretend to look at their watches. But it's not raining. Their eyes are silver dollars, and some are scholars in the pay of the FBI. But most are the foreigners who pass throughout the streets. I fooled them. Got off the bus at 25th and Lex, where a cabbie whacked me over his newspaper. In the room above me, an old woman has put an electric suction cup on her floor. It sends out rays through my light fixture, and now I write in the dark by the bar sign's glow. I tell you, I know. They sent me a dog with brown spots and a radio cobweb in its nose. I drowned it in the sink and wrote it up in Boulder Gamma. I don't look in the mailbox anymore. The greeting cards are all letter bombs. Step away. Step away. I tell you, I know very tall people. Very tall people. The luncheonette was late and chocolate. The waitress says it was salt, but I know arsenic when it's late before me. And the air is tasty, nasty, bitter odor of almonds. I have seen strange lights in the sky. Last night, a dark man with no face crawled through 9 miles of sewer to surface in my toilet, listening for phone calls through the cheap wood with chrome ears. I tell you, man, I hear. I saw his muddy handprints on the porcelain. I don't answer the phone now. Have I told you that? They are planning to flood the earth with sludge. They are planning break-ins. They are making addictive laxatives and suppositories that burn. They know how to put out the sun with blowguns. I pack myself in ice. Have I told you that? It obviates their infrascopes. I know chants, and I know charms. You may think you have me now, but I can destroy you any second now. Any second now. Any second now. Would you like some coffee, my love? Have I told you? I can't go out no more. There's a man by the door in a raincoat. Fiction writer Conrad Aiken was deeply interested in psychology and its themes of separation and isolation. In his short story Silent Snow, Secret Snow, we are introduced to the child Paul, who may be schizophrenic. We watch as Paul slips into a state of living catatonia, a state of living death. Quite suddenly, everyone was silent, and without precisely facing them nevertheless, he was aware that all three of them, his mother, his father, the doctor, were watching him with an extraordinary intensity, as if he had done something monstrous, or if he himself was some kind of monster. They were staring hard at him, as if he had done something monstrous. But he could hear the soft, regular flutter of the flames, the click, cluck, click, cluck of the clock far and faint. Two sudden spurts of laughter from the kitchen, as quickly cut off as begun, a murmur of water in the pipes, and then the silence. It seemed to spread out, to become worldwide and world-long, to become timeless and shapeless, and to center inevitably and rightly on the beginning of a new sound. And what this new sound was going to be, he knew precisely well. It might begin with a hiss, but it would end with a roar. There was no time to lose. It mustn't happen here. And without another word, he turned and ran up the stairs. And not a moment too soon, the darkness was coming in long white waves. It filled the night. A prolonged sibilance filled the air. A great seamless seethe of wild influence went abruptly across it, like a cold, low humming as it shook the windows. He shut the door and flung off his clothes in the dark. The bare black floor was like a little raft, tossed in snow, almost overwhelmed, washed under whitely, and then up again, smothered in a curled billow of feathers. The snow was laughing. It spoke from all sides at once. It pressed closer to him as he ran and turned and jumped, exulting onto his bed. "Listen to us," it said. "Listen. We have come to tell you the last and most secret story. You remember. Lie down. Shut your eyes. Now you will no longer see much in this white darkness. Who could see or want to see? We will take the place of everything. Listen." A beautiful varying dance of snow began at the front of the room and then retreated. It flattened out toward the floor and then rose, fountain-like, toward the ceiling, recruited itself from a new stream which poured laughing in through the humming window. It advanced again, lifted long white arms. It said peace. It said remoteness. It said cold. It said, then a dash of bitter light fell brutally across the window, the room across from the opening door. The snow drew back, hissing. Something alien had come into the room, something hostile. This thing rushed at him, clutched at him, shook him as if this thing, it was not merely horrified. Paul was filled with such a loathing as he had never known. What was this? This cruel disturbance, this act of anger and of hate? It was as if he had to reach up another hand toward another world for any understanding of it. But from that world, he still remembered just enough to know the exercising words. They tore themselves from his other life suddenly. "Mother, mother, go away! I hate you!" And with that, everything became all right. Everything became silent. The seamless hiss advanced once more. It lifted long, white, wavering waves, rose and fell like enormous whispering sea waves, the whisper becoming louder and the laughter more numerous. The most beautiful and secret story. Shut your eyes. It is a very small story, a story that gets smaller and smaller. Instead of opening like a flower, it is a flower becoming a seed, a little cold seed. Do you hear? We are leaning